Hey everybody, this is the Battle Geek, also known as Vant Mario, and we are back with another painting video. Let me just put my lights a little bit more intense. Oh Jesus! As I live and breathe. All right, there we go. Sorry, I had some competing things here on the good old channel, but yes, we are back with our Monday night painting video. And I'm going to do something a little special tonight. So we are going to do some Marvel Crisis Protocol models, which I may or may not have actually put that in the title of this stream, which if I did not, I am sorry. But we are going to do some Marvel Crisis Protocol models. But in addition to that, I will also be doing some of the indie models that I have. This is going to be part of our custom campaign. And I wanted to do that for you guys tonight. So we'll do a little bit more painting of this, which we've done a couple of paints of it. And we're going to get Hiemdel finished as well, which we have him pretty well done. And then we will have the other Scourge. While we kind of wait for some of the newer models to come out. Hiemdel was actually a newer model that did come out, but I am excited for about 2 to 4 more of them that are coming out. And hopefully we won't have any weird things going on in the stream tonight. So we'll be a little bit less eventful than some of our other streams have been. Where my computer was giving me some weird problems. Thank you all for joining. Sorry we started a little bit later tonight. And we're just going to pick up right where we left off with Hiemdel. So what I was working on last time with Hiemdel was I was working on the Bifrost sort of energy or piece. So we're giving it that sort of rainbow bridge kind of feel. So I was actually doing a little bit of accent coloring. So this is where we're going to go in and probably I might even use some of the colors or potentially cover up some of the colors just to give it a little bit more flair or pizzazz. We're just trying to use those like I said, rainbow style colors, so that kind of getting that rainbow bridge feel. Now, what would probably have been a good idea is, so this is kind of where preference comes in, right? So if you wanted, like, this would actually be, and I've been meaning to grab some of like the color changing paints or metallic shift paints, because they do make, just changing my light a little bit. They do make like color changing paints or iridescent paints. There could have been some good usage of it here, because this actually is a part of it that we could have had some nice usage. So this could have been an opportunity. I don't have those color changing paints. I'm using the Contrast Citadel paints. And again, I'm trying to mimic that rainbow color. So what I'm doing now is just kind of going into certain areas and just punching up the colors. But what I am noticing is I'm being a little messy about it. So this may or may not be an awesome paint job. So what I'm sort of doing is I'm overlaying some of the purple there, just to bring the purple into more areas in the paint, to try to give it that like mosaic rainbow look. But it is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit on the challenging side. But I think it gets the point across. It does have that like look to it. I might have to tidy up some of the other colors, but and that was the idea, to try to do some of the colors also like bleeding. I'm also like going over some of the colors, which I'm just using a little bit of a heavier hand with the purple if I want to like cover up a color. I'm just trying to get all the little bits all painted, because then, like I said, I'm gonna have to come back in with some of the other colors that I use just to tidy it up. So I'm just like kind of approaching it from every angle. But as you can see, alright, so I think what I'm going to do now is, now that I did the purple a little bit, I'm going to go back in with some of those other blue colors and green colors and just kind of I don't think this is the blue I used, but it's gonna ruin the whole thing. Alright, so what I was hoping that was gonna do was give me a little, yeah, this is, it's getting a little on the messy side. The idea with doing this was to introduce, I wanted to introduce another blue as an accent, because that blue is the teal green blue, but I wanted to bring a different accented blue into this, which is this is the Night Haunt blue. But I kind of like how it's, I kind of like how that looks up against the other colors. So I think I'm going to use it as an accent blue. Because like I said, what I wanted to do with this was I wanted to have that sort of older style Thor look. So if you look at the older comics, he has like a Bifrost, and you always have the Rainbow Bridge, which is like something he, like, it's in the movie it was like a more techno Rainbow Bridge, but in the comics the Rainbow Bridge is like more literal. It's like a literal Rainbow Bridge. Sorry guys, I'm trying to see your comments. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, we might have a short stream tonight. Okay. So I told you guys, I was saying this through some of our other streams, that if I didn't see a pickup with the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, I was actually going to disband it. And I think we might. I'm giving it one more week, but if I don't see some like viewers come into these streams, I'm gonna probably cancel them. Yeah, or I'll not cancel them. I'm just gonna change what we do. I'll change the schedule because, I said it before. I guess then I'll just make this be my like free paint time, and I'll start doing this more on my own time. Because it's crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's that people aren't playing Marvel Crisis Protocol. I don't know. I know there are some of you out there that care and want to see this content because you joined you joined with it as part of your idea and what you do. We're painting Hiemdel from Marvel Crisis Protocol. Trying to get all these done because I've actually gotten confirmation of the folks that I was going to have involved in this campaign. We're going to be doing a custom campaign scenario where we actually are using not only the Marvel Crisis Protocol models, but a lot of indie models. So not only will we be painting Hiemdel today, but I'll also be painting some Etsy indie models that I have. Which I thought would be kind of cool for you guys to see that. But yeah, like I said, if we keep seeing drop-offs in the like participation on the Monday show, I'll have to just rebrand this. We'll just do more because I think you guys have been very happy with the Warhammer stuff we've been painting. We might have to just switch to Warhammer, like a lot more Warhammer stuff. So what I'm doing now is I'm just filling in areas, but I really like the way this looks. It looks very colorful, and again, it looks very much like that Rainbow Bridge kind of feel. So yeah. And as always, if you're here watching us, I always appreciate it if you guys tell us what's on your mind. I love to hear what's on your painting table. All of those things are awesome. Just because we're painting a Marvel Crisis Protocol model, if you have other painting projects that you want to focus on or you'd like to get even help with, I always say it, like part of the reason that I do these streams is so you guys can ask questions. I love helping people with painting projects. I love getting people involved in the hobby. So please don't be shy. And I did want to start off with I wanted to put to bed this like the rainbow stuff because it's such a big part of the model and I wanted to have a plan. And so far I really like the way the plan came together. It's we need to definitely touch up some areas. I got to get the yellow and touch that up. But I'm liking how this is because again it is very much that rainbow feel. And Hiemdel himself, I actually really did like how he came out. And like I said, if you are watching us, thank you again for being with us. And if you have questions, comments, any of those wonderful things, like I said, do not hesitate to speak up and talk on the stream. We always love the comments, and I always say that your comments and questions make a large part of a better show. Because although I could talk incessantly for a while, you guys bring always a better angle to the table, and you always bring an interesting perspective. And actually, what I'm curious about is, going back to a comment I just made a minute ago. how do people feel their local shops and or where they tend to like to go play? How are they doing? Are you guys finding yourselves not really going to those areas anymore? Are you finding it hard to play? Are you finding, potentially some of maybe your local stores that you used to have, with the pandemic, weren't able to survive and closed up? Like, I'd love to hear from the chat what you guys think. Um, and if you could shed any light or thoughts on that as well. So again, all I'm doing now is I'm just going in, and because I had like, I don't want to call it a messy paint style, but I was kind of just like free-forming it just to sort of figure out how I wanted to develop the different color bands. I'm just kind of going in and touching that up now. Very, very cool. All right. And if you guys think, the folks that are watching, that there are other people out there that would enjoy this content, um, feel free to share this content with them. The more the merrier. I think it's always nice when other people discover some stuff. And like I said, if you think that they're even struggling with the hobby, or getting into it, or they'd like to see other content to maybe help them because maybe they feel overwhelmed, um, I am more than happy to oblige and help with stuff like that. So what I'm doing now, like I said, is I'm just going over and starting to build the color scheme as it wraps around. Because like I said, I was kind of just free-forming the different colors that I thought I was going to include. And I'm just now, going in and kind of touching up and, making some more solid color choices. Because as we did this, I did want things to look like they were transitioning, so that the colors were transitioning into each other. And I think we achieved that because it looks like bits and bands of energy that are like coming down. And so it does look very cool. And like I said, I was going for an older feel or look. So I actually really, 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 really like the idea of it being a little bit muddier, which is cool. How I'm going to get in the back there and do some of that, I have no clue. But at least I got the majority of this other area. So I'm going to let that all kind of dry, because it's better if you kind of let it dry and do its thing. Now, traditionally, I will use reference to help me out here, but I'm just going to go for it. So things on Hiemdel that I have to sort of figure out. So there is some gold trim that I have not yet to do. I have not yet done, which is on his like main breastplate. Also the tunic that hangs, there's some gold plating on that. I mean, Hiemdel is actually, for the most part, kind of almost done. There's a few little detail things I want to do for him, but now what might be hard is, I've mentioned it a couple of times as we've been painting. This brush, I am really trying to get the last little bit out of this brush, but the bristles on this brush are like, they're not really pitting anymore. So pitting is the idea. that they come back to a point. The bristles are kind of separating, so what that's going to do is it's going to make some like big trailing that's going to happen. So I have to be super careful, but I want to get this gold detail in. And Hiemdel is one of those models. I'm starting to learn that I may have to start thinking about assembly painting. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't do well doing it. But the issue I'm running into is that this model, a lot of it is like, a lot of it gets blocked by a lot of the elements on it, so that is making it extremely hard to paint. Because as you guys can see, I have to go at it from like very weird angles. It's not as straightforward to paint it. I'm not complaining, but it just makes it so I have to do a little bit of extra work. Whereas if I just like had not put the sword on and painted that first and then painted the sword separately and then glued it together, I would have probably been in so much better shape. Oops, that's the wrong color. So much better shape. And this is Retributor Gold that I'm using right now. Which I like this gold because it's like super shiny. And if you are a fan of Thor or the comics, you would know Hiemdel, for the most part, is extremely shiny. He's very, very golden. So if you remember the very first, which I know for a lot of people, the very first MCU Thor movie, everybody was not like too happy with it. That is the way Hiemdel is in the comics. He's got like very over the top golden armor, very, Viking Asgardian. So that is like traditional Hiemdel. He's very, very much like that. So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to get that gold armor. So he is supposed to be like a little bit more jacked. They do and again, that's because in the comic book, similar to in the movies, there are changes that happen to the Asgardians, to Thor, and so he does have a more subdued look, like he does in the comics. And nowadays, his comic version of himself, does look more like the MCU version rather than the traditional Hiemdel. It also happened that way too because in the comic books, he in the comic books he stops being like a servant of Odin. So he kind of goes his own way, and he's not bound by his station anymore. As many of the Asgardians do. So alright, so we've gotten that Retributor Gold on there. Sorry if I couldn't give you guys all the angles for that. I'm trying my best. And like I said, I'm very much like kind of free-forming this whole thing because there was a sketch. Not a sketch. There is a painting sample, but I didn't really like the painting sample, so I just kind of went rogue and did my own thing. So I'm just like kind of going for the Viking look. In fact, I'm just going to paint this whole thing. Gilliman, who I'm using now. And the reason behind the Gilliman is I want to separate it. I want to make it a different color than what I did for the tunic, but at the same time I want it to be brown. I don't want it to compete with the snake bite. What I like about doing a technique like that is because when you go over the darker color, it doesn't impose on the darker color, but yet it will give, like, you'll get that distinction between it and the snake bite. So there'll be that two-toned color in there. Whoops. Tidying this all up. So I'm using it as kind of a filler to also be able to do some other detail work there. But this is why I said, like, we're going to do a few things to him, and then you're going to see how rapidly quick he's going to look done, because pretty much everything is getting done, and then it's just going to be a matter of, like, little touch-ups. But I don't really see Hiemdel taking us too long. It's really going to be just doing more of that Bifrost and a few other little odds and ends. But it's going to be very, very quick. How we doing on views? Wow. Okay, so we're still not hitting where I want to be with this. Okay. Which is interesting because I know, like, at least a few of you guys who specifically join for the Marvel Crisis Protocol content. And we're doing new models now, and I'm still not getting you guys to jump on and be with us. So that's telling me something. Which is a shame. I hope that doesn't mean what I think it means, which is this game is, like, kind of had its day. I really hope that's not it. I mean, it's true. This game kind of came out at a weird time. Like, it was coming out, and then the pandemic hit. So, I don't know if it had, like, a bolster because of Marvel, and then maybe, like, people lost interest because the Marvel stuff. Not that it's fizzled, but we're kind of in a holding pattern because there's not a lot of movie stuff happening. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. What do you guys think? I don't know. I know other people just, like, tell me that I have to be patient because, like, it's more the trend of, like, Twitch, which I don't know if you guys agree with that. That, like, everybody's kind of computered out. Like, you know, we spend more, you know, more and more people are doing, like, remote working and other stuff. So you kind of spend a lot of time at a computer. So when you, like, come home, you don't necessarily want to watch, like, Twitch content. Or it's been, like, hard for a lot of Twitch content creators to, like, get, you know, kind of get people interested. I don't know if you guys agree with that, disagree with that. I don't know. Like, do you feel like you watch less Twitch streams? Do you feel like you don't you don't want to like you don't want to necessarily spend that time looking at content creators? I'd love to kind of hear what you guys have to say about that. If anybody out there's got like a thought process or a comment around that. I mean, obviously, if we're not live, you guys can DM me or you can message me. But I just, yeah, I'd love to get like a perspective on like what people think is like the status quo of things. I don't think it's that Twitch is the problem. I think people still want Twitch. I think people still like Twitch as a platform. So I don't think that's the rationale as to the why, but I do feel like we definitely do better with the Warhammer stuff. 110%. I think that is a true statement if there was ever one. That I think we definitely, I find we have more consistent viewers when we do Warhammer stuff. So or is it also just that like Mondays are bad? That could also be true. I don't know. Like, do you guys just don't want to show on Mondays? I don't know. So what I'm doing now is I'm just like, I'm sort of looking at the other side of the crystals, and I'm just kind of like bringing some of them. So like if the other side is purple, I'm just like bringing that color to the backside, so it's like continued. And my goal is to try to like sort of mimic what is happening on one side, because the reality is that it's going to be really, really hard to paint inside of there. So if I feel like there's if I feel like there's a way to simplify color or change color, yeah, so what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of, because that green that you see there, which I could put some green on the other side, but some of that green was actually done by like mixing colors, but you could see it already looks ballin'. I mean, look at how good that's starting to look just by bringing some of the color in. And again, similar approach to how I did the other side. I'm just like kind of bringing color in, and I'm doing it in like a triangular method. So what does that mean? Well, I'm trying to do it so you can see bang, bang, bang. I'm trying to make triangles, so your eye kind of bounces around and it makes your colors a little bit more balanced. Whereas if you kind of concentrate, if you make your colors a little bit more balanced, then your eye doesn't like want to run away or do stuff. I just wanted to bring a little bit of purple on the bottom. I knew this was going to happen. No, this is it. He looks amazing, and this very, very traditional like Bifrost. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, just so I can then go in and play with it. Now I did paint a little bit of Hiemdel off camera. I've been doing that where I'm painting some of these off camera just to get them a little further along. I don't know why I put that purple away. I'm going to need it. So, I called this multiverse model review and painting because the whole idea of our custom campaign is going to be, I don't want to show everything, but I will show some things. We're going to have a multiverse fight. So I actually have Dragon Ball Fighters, which are from Gallivanter Miniatures, which is on Etsy. They're called Dragon Fighters. I'm going to stress that name, Dragon Fighters. And he actually does have some models that are essentially anime characters that are from a very popular anime series. In some ways, he does vary them a little bit so that they are not exact carbon copies of them. But it's very cool because it gets you hold on one second. I just want to make sure I remember what Piccolo looks like. And I know that sounds weird. Yeah, there we go. I just wanted like something that gives me some sort of remnants of some of the main colors for him, because obviously purple I knew as being one of the big colors for him, which is why I laughed that I put it back, because he is clearly purple, but the green was the other thing. But I was like, I do remember him being purple, and then I do remember most of the colors that I remember are exactly the colors that he is. So I'm going to use that Margot's purple again. I love using Margot's purple. Now these guys I love because, sorry, not that they are easier to paint, but so in general, everything we're painting right now is 40 millimeter. So what does that mean? Well, so our Marvel Crisis Protocol, their figures are typically 40 millimeter. So they are in that scale, which 40 millimeter is great because what it means is that it makes it so you have a little bit of a larger model, so it is bigger, so therefore it makes it I'm being very, very sloppy. Therefore it makes it a lot easier to paint it, so a lot faster, which is why I tend to get these models done quicker than the other models. But what I love about the Etsy shop I got these from is the gentleman there. The gentleman that I got these from will let you do varying scales. So if you want this for different scale or different sizes to get it into that range, you can totally buy them in different scales. So I was really, really happy about that because obviously the 40 millimeter scale, which Marvel Crisis Protocol goes for, a lot of miniature games don't use that scale. A lot of miniature games will use scale, will go usually like 32, 28 scale. They don't usually do 40 inch scale. But that also is good because I know for a fact there are some people out there that like to do like custom squads or groups for if it's like a small squad based game. Like I know Necromunda is a great example. Some people like to do custom ganger gangs, and some people they find it very, very fun to grab models like these and just go and make a gang of like notable characters, but now they're in that Necromunda Underhive world. Or some people want to just have these characters for like a D&D session, or if you're somebody like me who likes to do sometimes like home brewed worlds, it could be really nice to have these models for that reason. Now, also, because these are anime style characters, and I'm going to paint them as such, um, this has been really, really helpful because um, the now we're talking about the contrast paints. They're so nice because you don't really have to go too intense with your paint jobs, because you're literally at most times doing like 3 or 4 colors because they're anime characters, and you do that nice like couple of coats of some of the contrast paints, and you already have a pretty decent base, and then you just have to go in and embellish and do some edge highlighting, and you get these done relatively quickly. They really do not take that long. So you'll notice, sorry guys, I keep like putting my focus just below where it is. I don't know what happened recently, but like ever since, I didn't do anything to my setup or change, but I feel like my iPhone is not doing the best filming job, and it's like losing the focus. I don't know if it's the app I'm using, maybe it needs to be updated, or if there's just maybe my phone's showing its age, so like it's maybe time to get a new phone, because as I'm doing updates, maybe it's not processing things as fast as it used to. I don't know. I was trying to hold off as long as I could, because we talk about it all the time on this channel, but I don't I'm not at that level yet where I have companies sending me necessarily free samples, but so I do have to pay for a lot of this out of pocket, if not most of it out of pocket. So I do try to do the best with equipment I have and make the equipment last as long as I can, because I know I'm gonna have to do my best. So I definitely try to utilize things as far as I can. So now I'm going to use the Athmatic Blue, because that's going to be that like turquoise blue, which for folks that were not aware, his middle sash is actually a turquoise. That I would not have remembered, but I'm glad that I had the ability to that I would not have remembered. Yeah, so this is what happens when you are a little overzealous like me and decide to try to paint while paint's wet. I really shouldn't have done that, because now I'm going to have to redo it, but that's fine. But like I said, this is what I mean by you're going to be done in a couple of colors, because you it's just very different. And I love how Piccolo is so big, because I don't think a lot of people realize that in the Dragon Ball cartoon, Piccolo is actually taller than Goku, and Goku is supposed to be the size of a normal person. So if you look at Goku up against Hiemdel, he's supposed to be about the same size as a real person. And yes, I do have a Goku. Which we're actually almost at the end of these guys. Like, I've actually almost painted all of them, which I'm super happy about. Yeah, the part that I wanted to understand, yeah, okay, so it is green. Alright, I think we're going to use the Night Haunt green. I don't know how good this is going to come out, but it's going to give it that neon green. Let's see how it does. That is actually perfect for Piccolo. That is the right kind of green. It's like that Martian alien green, because that's kind of what Piccolo kind of resembles that. So again, this is the Night Haunt wash, and it actually works perfect for the base coat for Piccolo. So I'm just going to pop that on there. I'm trying to be very, very specific about not going in those eyes, but I will say that the mold that they did is really good because you can see it actually does a good job of raising. So his eyes are actually raised molds on the model. This is actually really good. This is actually good Dragon Ball music. This reminds me of like when a character powers up in Dragon Ball Z. It kind of does. It's actually pretty good. So I am going a little bit. I am going a little bit harder with this, and there's a reason behind the why. So because this is a wash, it's not really meant to be a basing color. So I'm like kind of putting a lot on because I want it to pool and create solid areas. Because washes, for the most part, or traditional GW washes, can sometimes be a little bit more contrast like. You'll notice it's a little bit lighter. So like you probably have seen it where it's it's like kind of thinning out more, whereas a contrast paint would have a little bit more thickness to it, and it would obviously not leave as blotchy of a finish. But this is just the first part of that paint. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going back into this with other paints. But I want to use this as like the beginning because like I said, that green for the wash is like perfect. It's the right color green, but like you'll see as it's drying, like we're already having areas where the wash it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's staining the area, but it's not giving us that final. So I will probably be going over this with some like darker greens or mixing some greens, but this will be a good first start for certain areas, because what's interesting about Piccolo also is that you'll notice he has these like these other structures on him, and those other structures are actually red highlighted because they almost look like inverted like muscles, because people forget that Piccolo has that ability where he can essentially extend his body. He can extend his limbs, which you see in the anime. So but you guys can see the basic color palette is there. So that's what I love about it, is that like with a couple of colors, we've basically gotten his painting palette. We just have to get a few other details. And then obviously what I've been doing with these guys is I do keep them for the most part more in that anime feel and style, because that's the idea. If you kind of break into the multiverse and you break into our dimension, I'm kind of using the what I call the Into the Spider-Verse rules, that even though you're in the other person's dimension, like if you have because they did that in that movie where all the art styles, everybody maintained their like art style, even though they were in Miles's world. So I'm kind of doing that too. But because these are 3-dimensional miniatures, I am going into them with the idea that I will like put some of that more realistic feel on them, because I want the models to look good on the table together. So I am allowing it to be a little bit more grounded than probably it would have normally been. I gotta just watch. Yeah, okay, so that's still a muscle, because I have to see where those red. The good news is that if I mess up, the red I have to paint on top of this will 100% cover the shade. So, and then we're gonna have just a tiny bit under here. So I'll just do that, because he's got a little bit of his skin that shows through the pants. Not much, but a little bit. And then I have to look at a different picture for his shoes, because I don't completely remember his shoes, although I think his shoes, if I'm not mistaken, follow that color palette. So I think the shoes are also purple. No, they are not. Interesting. But like I said, we've only done, what, a couple of passes with 3 colors, and he already looks really good. That's what I love about these models. They're so easy to paint. Now, pink, I actually have to get a new color. I don't have a pink. So I'm going to have to delve into my bag of tricks for that. The red I have, the red will be the normal red. But yeah, pink, I have to go get that. Alright, so what's going on with the shoes? The shoes are tan, aren't they? Alright, so they're just like basic, they're basically tan shoes. Okay. So I'm going to use for the shoes skeleton horde, because I like that. I think that looks really good. And going back to what I was saying before, this is part of like where some of the diversity comes from. So I said before that, like, you know, obviously the Etsy shop where I got this from, stupid. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can. That's dumb. All right, well, it might be okay. I was a little too overzealous with this brush. What I was going to say before I messed up and completely got paint on the wrong part of it. This is part of where some of the variation comes from. So I don't know if a lot of people understand that law, but if you create something, so like if you're creating a model and it has likeness to a character, as long as you differentiate the character enough, you can still make it. It's just that it's not an exact replica of that character. So like there are definitely things on this model that were emphasized or made different so that it, you know, still looks like the character it's supposed to look like, kind of, but there are definitely differences. So it's not a 100% perfect carbon copy of it. And like some of it is in the shoes. The shoes are like very different. The sash, like different things on the model are definitely not the same proportions or lines or way it is. It is like, it is notably different. Oh, there's green inside of there too. So there is a conscious effort to do that, and I think that's pretty cool. And like, I'm happy because like as a fan of these things, it's nice that there's somebody out there that is giving you some options. And I always say it a lot, but I wish that companies out there that have IPs or whatever, if they, you know, if they stumble across people like this that are so talented that they can make these variations, like, I wish they would embrace them and make them like part of their company, or like do projects with them. So that like maybe it could lead to some really cool collaborations, or maybe it could lead to like some cool ideas. Like, I would love a Dragon Ball um RPG, or a Dragon Ball like um miniature game or whatever. And it has, like, in some cases it has led to that, but I wish that they would like tap some of these companies to like go through some of this with them and like see how they're doing things, and like what ideas they can steal or look at, and like embrace them. I think that too many times out there, like, everybody gets like really bogged down with the like IP battles, and like they get really really scared that like they're opening the doorway to like people not getting their official things. But I don't think that that's how it's going to work. Like, if you embrace the community and like allow hobby people to like go look at custom things and incorporate it into your like daily stuff, it would make so much more sense, and I think they would make so much more like profit. I've said it for a while, like I think like companies like GW or others, it would be such a different landscape if like they sold STL files and just gave, because then they could give people like a tier that might be affordable. I'm just basing that with the Griffin Charger Gray right now, and then once that dries, I'm going to go back in and put some of those rocks to a darker thing. But I mean, already this is looking super awesome. And I know for him, his pupils are just black, which is unique too about Piccolo. I love that. But I already love how this is looking, and like I said I might have to do like stuff to make it more realistic. It's actually not too bad. Like, I might not have to do too much. Definitely might have to do some touching up at the eyes, but not crazy. Now for the eyes, I'm going to try a new technique, which I showed on another video, but let's see if it'll work. Oh, that works perfect. Alright, that did not work as perfect. So what I did was I actually used a fine tip Sharpie marker, and that worked out super well. Oh my god, that worked out so well. Amazing. Sharpie markers, Sharpie fine tip. They work so well for pupils. And then this is great for like writing sigils or other stuff. And I will do that sometimes. So on sigils I will write, or ruins. That's awesome. That worked out perfect. So I didn't have to do my weird trying to paint with my eyes. Yeah, who would have thought? Sharp. And then if you do fixative on top of it, like you would for the rest of the model, that will totally stay, which is the other really cool thing. So I'm going to use some null oil for some little areas. So I'm going to do that for like in here. So we'll do a little bit of that. This is what I meant by giving it a more realistic tone. Is using null oil for like those areas, and then using null oil for like ridges or other things. So you just kind of put the null oil on top of it, and it looks so much more dramatic. It's so good. Oh my god, that looks so good. Piccolo is born. Yeah, this looks so awesome. So I'm going to put a little bit of this null oil in some areas. I mean, I can't do everything because the null oil is like, some of this might not be dry yet, but I like to put it in like recess areas. But I also want to keep some of his natural see, I don't want it to look too black. I want it to have like some, but if you put it in the recesses, it can look really nice. What I'm going to do for this kind of stuff is to actually like do the purple, because that Margot's purple, if I go back over it, I can start to bring that out. And then that's what I love about the contrast paints, is you kind of use the same paint, this same color, and you can do like a two-tone effect. And all you're doing is you're just using the same color, but you're just putting it on top of it to create darker bands and darker and lighter. And then you obviously can go back in and you can do like a light mix. Yeah, so like in here. So you can already see how this is. So now you can already see what I was saying about this brush and how this brush is not working well with me right now. Yeah, okay, so we're... man. Alright, so I don't know what's up with Monday nights, guys. You're going to have to tell me. I think we may have to put an end to Marvel Crisis Protocol. I think I personally, I think what happened was, and it is 100% our fault on that one. Maybe it's because we didn't actually do any like gameplay with it, because we weren't actually playing the game. You guys got annoyed, which I don't blame anyone if that's what you guys thought, because I did say quite a bit to you guys that we were going to be having like battle reports and other stuff, and the reality is my life got complicated, and so did the people that I like tend to stream with. I think what we'll do is I'll try to put some of the battle report content in, but I think I'm telling everybody now, if you're watching this, if next Monday we don't get a like pretty decent turnout, we're gonna start at 10 o'clock. I may table, unless it's like something really really cool that's coming out. I may table Marvel Crisis Protocol on Mondays. I might change the schedule. And I feel really bad because I know there are some people out there that like followed me because of this content. But like I said, it's just I'm not seeing those people come into the stream, so it's it's definitely time maybe to try some other stuff and give so all I'm doing now is I'm just going through and, like I said, making darker lines so I can make that variation. And I always feel bad when I like start these conversations like that, because I know that there are like other people who are probably a lot more loyal to us and are there for a lot of our streams. And I really feel bad when I have to like come down like that, because I don't want you guys to think we're ungrateful for those people that are with us. And if you are somebody who like is with us a lot, But if I want to grow this channel the way that I want to, I like kind of have to make those decisions. Because the reality is I want to get to affiliation, and like the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if I do the content that is getting people to come. Like I said, I'm just not at that level yet where I can I'm getting things sent to me, or I'm getting those first looks, that first review. I'm just not that person. I do everything on my own. I'm purchasing models. I'm getting them as quick on release as I can. So yeah, so it's a labor. I mean, it is a labor of love, because I love what I do, and I do believe in that idea that you should, like, I want to do the content that I find interesting, not necessarily just the things that are going to get views, but at the end of the day, like, I've been doing this for a while now, and I want to get to that next level, because I say it all the time, like, I mean it when I say it, like, I do want to get to a point where I can do more of this on a more full-time basis for y'all. Like, I really do mean that. When I say that, it's not just a thing that I say to be nice. Because I love I love this hobby, and I love doing new things, and I do want to eventually have like a physical location or a place that I can like share my love of these games with everybody. And really continue to explore my creativity on a cool level. So but like I said, we can't really do that if we have to get to that affiliation level. It's very important. And I also should have shouted out, and I'm terrible at doing this, but my other so I got to be careful with this. So so Gallivanter Miniatures, who make these models, they are not a sponsor of my channel, but I do appreciate them, and one of the things I do want to shout out for them is they have a huge selection of models. So, I mean, I got the Dragon Fighter models, but if you are looking for the best facsimiles of models you might want that are from other worlds that you are fond of, please consider checking them out. Oh, Jesus, come on, focus. And like I said, they are not an official sponsor of my channel, but I have talked to the folks over there. They were super duper nice. One of the things I want to shout out them for is they were very super keen. They took a little bit longer to get my models to me, or there was going to be an issue because the store just got busy. And they were quick to not only communicate that to me, which I loved, but they for the inconvenience of the models taking a little bit longer, they actually sent me a couple of free models, which I have not shown. Actually, it's not true. Yes, I did show one of them because the Goku was one of them. But yeah, they sent me 2 free models because there was a delay in printing, and they were upset, and to kind of give me good loyalty, good faith, They actually asked me if I wanted some additional models, and they printed them for me, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I got the Ultra Instinct Goku that you saw a moment ago, and I also got Orko from He-Man, because I have some He-Man models that were from another miniature Etsy miniature company. Which, to be fairly honest with you, I don't even know if they are still a shop on Etsy you can get models from. And truth be told, once I saw this model shop, I actually would have preferred their models better. So I feel bad about that, because the other model company that I got those from were like super good folks. Hello everybody. So we're what I am painting now is some indie models, which are going to be part of our custom Marvel Crisis Protocol campaign. We also did some work on Hiemdel tonight. I am working on a Dragon Fighter. You may know him better as Piccolo, which I am super happy about. But they are in the 40mm scale. They are from Galvatier Miniatures. On Etsy you can find them. And then my Hiemdel, which I'll show you guys really quick. This is what we were working on. He's almost done. I really love the Rainbow Bridge effect. We just got to get the rest of that painted. I was letting him dry a little bit. Obviously, a new release from Marvel Crisis Protocol. He came with Scourge, which is the other model he comes with. And he will be potentially part of our Marvel Crisis Protocol multiverse campaign. So they will actually be fighting fighters from another realm. And we have some other Dragon Ball models that I've painted. We're going to be painting up some other models, so I'm going to always tackle them in with the Marvel Crisis Protocol models. My hope is that we will get some newer models coming to us soon. There's just a couple of Marvel Crisis Protocol models that I am super excited about. And we may even have some additional indie models that will be coming down the pike. Because I may be ordering a few more. And what's cool about this is I will obviously have to be creating some custom rules, custom campaign cards, some other stuff. So it will be a fun time. And I do have some players lined up. Part of why we haven't started any of this yet is because when I was about to start all of this, a lot of the people that I normally have on the channel, their schedules sort of changed. And so did my schedule change a little bit as well. So nobody was really available at the times we used to be. So our Thursday slot and Thursday show has been a little bit lackluster, to say the least. We haven't done it all Thursdays. So but yeah, so I'm painting this up now. Obviously, we got a lot of this done. I find that these models, because they are anime characters, so their coloring is a little bit simpler, and also the fact that they are 40mm scale, because they follow. I got them the same scale as the Marvel Crisis Protocol models. They just tend to paint faster. It's easier to paint them, because they are larger scale models. And obviously, there's a lot of different uses for these. I mean, I plan on using them in this custom campaign, but I probably will use them in an RPG capacity, because I would love to do like a custom homebrew RPG where you're all from the world of from the world of Dragon Ball Z. And again, I'm using contrast paints. And currently I'm using the Blood Angels Red for the, like, kind of, I call it, it's probably not right for the lore of this show, but I call them inverted muscles because that's what it always feels like. Feels like he turned his arms inside out. I know he's supposed to be a Namekian and he's supposed to be alien, so obviously he looks a lot different than the humans of Earth. But I always find it. I always like. I don't know. To me, that's always what I was seeing. I also would love to hear comments, but is it only me or did other people think that Piccolo was a dragon? I know his name, the word does not mean dragon, but they always looked like they were dragons. But I guess that kind of makes sense because technically, oh, that's bad what I just did. That's very bad what I just did. Technically, what was I gonna say? Technically, Shenron is not a dragon. He's an alien. He also is an alien. So, or maybe the better way to say that Shenron is an interdimensional being. That's the better way to say that. So all the Dragon Ball people don't come after me. I apologize if my angles are rubbish. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show you guys what I'm doing. But something that I'm dealing with on this model is that, and actually this in particular, why I wanted to shout out this company because their print is amazing. The print of the models were really good. Came really clean. Typically, when you get like Etsy models, it could be a crapshoot. Sometimes, the curing, they do it a little bit rushed, and you don't get like super clean models. Like they still have a lot of the what's the word? They have a lot of the they have a lot of the scaffolding still on them. They may even have some of the curing still on them. So you have to do a few things to them. And that is a true thing when you guys get, so like anybody out there that might be getting if you get models that are resin 3D printed models from like another source, you do want to take them and wash them, because sometimes what will happen is the resin will still be on them, so the curing agent will still be on them, and that will actually make it so your paint and your primer will not stick on them. So you want to make sure that you always use soapy water, and you just like wash them. Yeah, and what that should do if you use the soapy water is it should give them a nice wash, and then that nice cured resin, which the paint will adhere to, is ready to go. I thought video game music was pretty stellarly, possibly important, because some of it sounds a little bit like Dragon Ball music. And of course, in you know, only my fashion when I do a stream, the music app that I used, it actually had for a moment a channel that was more appropriate, but then it like discontinued it on me, so I'm now left with less options for background music that is not going to get me in trouble with anyone. So I'm like, for Dragon Ball and for Marvel Crisis Protocol, you know, maybe some of the game music might work. Now it's gotten into more like Nintendo music, so I don't know if this is what I would pick for this particular content, but we're going to roll with it. Alright, so I think we got all of that. So I'm really liking the way that this is coming out. I think, and again, the Sharpie marker for the eyes works wonderful. It works so well, the fine tip Sharpie. I obviously have to do a little bit of fun with some things, but he is looking pretty nice and pretty well done. Definitely some areas that I have to do some improvement. But I also needed it to kind of dry, and it sort of has now. I also need to get a pinkish color, because I actually don't have that color, so that might be a way to show off some of the newer contrast paints. Because I did get the newer ones that they made, which are supposed to be like a better formula, and they gave some newer colors. So I'm eager to show you guys those, but I haven't necessarily, I keep every project that I'm doing, I'm able to just like use the colors that I normally use. It's just that they fit very well. So what I'm doing now is I'm just using this Hex Wraith shade, and I'm just like going back into areas to both, because again, this is a wash, but if we keep going over it, similar to the contrast paints, it will get like darker. I don't want to go crazy. But I want to like define certain things. And specifically what I want to define is I want to make sure the eyes are like well defined and well done. There we go. See? That's what I meant by like sometimes it hits the mark. Oh, that looks so good. I love how this wash is working. It looks so good. It's so like correct to the color that he is. So it might be hard for you guys to see, but it is a severely fine line with those eyes. Because I love how they molded the eyes, like, so you have that traditional like anime eye mold, but it's like the white part of the eye is like raised, so when you go with your brush, it's really hard to like accidentally go into there. So you like will miss it, and it's like gives you this perfect, nice graphic cut. I'm gonna do a few more things to it to make it like, I will actually put some like solid white in there, because when I prime, I do the gray sear, so it is like a little bit more gray than it is white. Man, Piccolo looks good. Besides doing the light pink, like, he looks good. He looks legit good on this like base. So I'm like really happy with the way he came out. And like I said, I love them because they take so little time to paint, because they're anime characters. So you're just doing like a lot of base toning, and then you just do a lot of like darks and lights, and you're done. And it's like super easy, super quick. And they look so good. And again, like I said, I'm going to definitely use these in other places. So Oh, this is amazing. Yes. It's crazy. Is it that you guys want me to start at 11? Would that actually help with the content? Anybody that's watching, like, tell me if 11 is a better time for us to start. Or is 10 okay? Because I feel like whenever I start at 11 or later, like, more people join. And I don't know if that's just because maybe I know there's a few people that were like in different time zones. And I don't know if that's why. Um, yeah, like I always say, guys, if you're watching and you've never like opened up and had a commentary with us, it's so nice if you do. But I know also that a lot, and I tested this theory one night. I know a lot of you guys are actually painting while you watch us. Because I said it as a joke one night, I think, and then I got like I got an unbelievable response to it, which was like literally everybody just like started to comment, and I was like, and they're like, oh well, we didn't want to interrupt you because you're painting, and I'm like, but that's the whole idea. I want you to interrupt me, like. I want to hear from you guys because, like I said, that's what makes my painting sessions even better when I can help you guys and talk about the different things, or you know, in this case, if you had questions about what are some of the good steps of like creating a custom campaign, custom figures or content, you know, these could be all those things we talk about while we're painting. Because I say that all the time on these videos, like, and maybe the folks watching do not completely understand, but like you guys help me so much, because by having people watch, I don't know if you realize like how motivating it is to have people like watching you, so you can like, I can like get my painting done. Like you guys, I went from really not, I don't want to say not finishing, but like having a much larger like shame pile of painting to not having too much of it at all. Like now, because I do these streams every week, like a lot of my models are getting painted. Like, great example, all these indie models I got, I have a stack of models to the right of here, and that stack is getting slower and slowly like done. Like things are getting put away, things are getting done, and it's so amazing. And I'm so thankful that you guys have allowed me to be able to do that in that way. I am so thankful, and I thank you guys every day for that. And if you find this content interesting and you want to know more and you want to learn more, consider following the channel. Consider, I'm going to put Piccolo there just to dry a little bit. Consider following the channel, considering being part of our hobby family. Let's get back to Hiemdel. So let's see. I did. All right, so we're going to do more of that Bifrost. I know I put all my paints away, and now I'm like grabbing the same color again. But I'm going to grab that I can't say words. Athermatic blue. Because now we're going to do the back side of the Bifrost. So that's what he's summoning. That's him traveling on the Bifrost. Oh, I lost the viewer. I don't know what happened, but I appreciate you being here for the time that you were here. I guess people like the more custom models. I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to give you the best angle in the house as best I can. I was gonna say we might be pausing in a minute because the tank for me is getting a little on the low side, but when we start to have more people joining, I don't like to just bow out. But yeah, I do want to know, like, through direct message, if you guys if you watch this even after the fact and you say to yourself, like, you know, maybe as you're watching, you maybe make a comment to yourself or even to one another, and you're like, you know, I really wish he would do more like Games Workshop content, or you know, maybe you are a Kings of War player and you're like, I really wish he would like devote some quality time to that game, which, by the way, I do have many Kings of War models on my like need to get painted list. So there, it's 100% definitely something that needs to happen. So I will be the first to admit that I've dropped the ball a little bit there, and I do feel real bad because what's really bad about that is I've actually gotten free content from free stuff from them, and this kind of relates back to the first point in this whole like start of commentary, which was we had plans for battle reports, and then slowly that window to do them like closed because a lot of the people that I was going to do them with, you know, their schedules changed. Some of them like actually like legit moved away. So it just put us, and you know, when I say moved away, they actually went places with like different time zones. So it was no longer as viable to do content with them. So it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but we're trying our best to get back on track. But yeah, so all right, guys. I think we did a pretty damn good dent. I think I might be signing off for the evening. But we got two amazing models painted. So we got Hiemdel. That was weird. Very far along. So I got all of this Bifrost stuff done. We got to get the inside done. We got a lot of him already done. There is some work to be done on some detailing on him. But a good chunk of it did get done today. So it's going to be just going back over. I love how the armor is coming out on him. And then we got literally almost all of Piccolo done for our multiverse fighters. So more dragon fighters, aka wink wink Dragon Ball characters for our multiverse fighting. I love how these models have been painted. I didn't comment before, but I love the bases. And again, when you do purchase this on Etsy, this is from Galvatier Gallivanter Miniatures on Etsy. Comes with the base. It's one whole print. It was so clean. Check them out. And then this was thanks to my actual sponsor for this video, Undiscovered Realms, where I get all my Marvel Crisis Protocol and painting supplies. So I got to thank them as always. We wouldn't have all the Marvel Crisis Protocol models and things that we review, especially the Games Workshop stuff, without their help. So I really, really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching as always. Like I said, if you are watching this after the fact, in the comments, let me know. I asked a couple of different questions. In this stream. Sorry guys, I'm just playing around with lights. All right, there we go. But yeah, I'd love to know, are you guys enjoying the Marvel Crisis Protocol content? If so, what is there a better time we could do this at? Is there a better time we could do this at? Is there more content you want to see? Is there something different we could do with the stream? Let me know what you guys think. I'm just realizing, are you guys not seeing? No, I think you are seeing it. Okay, so it is. All right, it's just my preview. My preview just looks so different on my computer. But the actual stream, you guys are getting the full color. You're getting the right color. Okay, so it's just odd. That's so weird. I don't know why it does that. I think it actually has to do with my display. I think my display. I have displays on different computers, and they actually look different, which is very odd to me. So I guess they have to be calibrated. But anyway, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see this content at a different time? Do you want to see it on a different day? But yeah, if you are a Marvel Crisis Protocol fan and like us painting Marvel Crisis Protocol, then I need you to speak up, and I need you to be here on Mondays at 10 o'clock when we start, because I want to see these videos get the love they deserve. Again, we will be doing Games Workshop models tomorrow. That's our day for Games Workshop. And then Wednesday, we are actually going to do, I think, some drawing or character concepts. We are actually going to do some other art that is not model painting, so I can do something different on Wednesdays. I say it's the random creative show, but we tend to do more model painting. We're gonna maybe change it up this week. Well, thank you guys as always for watching. Please check out my website and Patreon. That Patreon is so important and great. If you want to monetarily support us, you can literally sign up for $1 a month. If a ton of you did that, it would give us so much more bump in the channel, allowing us to really start to pay for the miniatures. I could go get more miniatures, more product, more things to look at. Because again, like I always say, I'm not at that level where I'm getting a lot of freebies from a lot of companies, so I am doing this all out of pocket. But anyway, thank you all for watching as always, and I'll see you at the next video. And again, reminder, we do Games Workshop tomorrow. We have our random creative show on Wednesdays, and then we have, of course, I want to just try something. And we, of course, have our Thursday night show where I hope to get back to playing some board games and eventually doing some full battle reports for you all. So thank you all for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.